much for joining us today for Studio 512. He's an Austin native, big on social media, and he's recently released a book called Be Your Own Bestie, a no-nonsense guide to changing the way you treat yourself. Misha Brown now joins us in the studio ahead of his live show tonight at Cap City Comedy Club. Misha, good morning.
Morning, Rosie.
Well, this is all about kind of effusive self-love. It's come from a really well-grounded place. But let's talk about how this book came to be and why it was so important to you.
Yeah, I actually did a fundraising challenge a few years ago over the holidays through my social media, and I did over 600 videos for some of my followers in the month of December.
Wow.
Yeah, and I recognized that like 95% of those requests were people asking for pep talks, needing advice, saying they didn't really like themselves very much. Aww. And I recognized myself in them because I was that person at one point, but I had gone on this journey of self-love and sobriety myself, and so I thought it would be a really great idea to give them something tangible that isn't a video on rented real estate that is social media, something they could refer back to, a guide to what I do on social media.
Yeah, and you said, yes, this is a self-help guide, but it's got a lot of humor in it as well, and so rarely, I think, do we see those two spaces connect, which I think is really cool.
Thanks. When I was pitching it to publishers, Hay House asked, well, describe yourself. And I said, imagine Mel Robbins had a baby with Joan Rivers. They said, here's a check.
Well, and Mel Robbins such a wonderful speaker and does an incredible job, but Joan Rivers, oh boy, we miss her.
Yeah, I know. Bless.
I think that's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit more about self-love, if you don't mind, and the way you treat yourself and why that's so vital, especially in today's society. I can even hear it when you talk about your followers, the way they were describing how they felt about themselves. We get so competitive with everything that we see on social media. It can be really hard to see the joys in your own life.
I think it's really radical to love yourself these days, and I think that's because social media and corporations, they profit from us not liking ourselves, from us comparing ourselves to each other. And so I think it's really important that we band together and kind of cut through that noise and say, you know what, I think we have more power over ourselves than you would like for us to believe.
100%. Okay. What do you hope the takeaway is for readers of your book?
I really hope that they take away that it's okay to love yourself, put yourself first, and that's not an act of selfishness. You can still be a kind, caring person who nurtures the people around you, but realize that you also deserve that same level of comfort coming from yourself first.
Can't give from an empty cup.
Exactly. Put that mask on first, right?
The oxygen mask goes on you first before anyone else. And so do you have practical tips in the book on, lessons on working on loving yourself, or is it more kind of a guided journey?
Yeah, I came up with a SAS method for myself. I'm a planner. I love a spreadsheet. And so I planned out my sobriety and my self-love journey with something called the SAS method.
Okay.
So it's a 4-part book, which is self-reflection, affirmations, standing your ground, and sculpt the life you want. And so I take the readers with a collection of stories through that SAS method and then offer ways where they can kind of see how that would work in their lives.
I know I'm putting you a little on the spot, but
Okay.
Is there one of the letters of that acronym that you think is actually the most important pillar when you're working through self-love?
Unfortunately, it's self-reflection. It's the hardest one, but I think it's the most important because it's really easy to cast blame on why our lives might not look the way we want it to. And so taking that accountability, looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I might be the problem here, is not easy, but it gives you the map, to get to where you want to go.
Let's say it together. It's me.
I'm the problem, it's me.
All right. We got to talk about your social media success because I was hearing that Miss Christy Carlson Romano will be the one who is introducing you on the stage tonight, but she actually followed you when you were back in New York.
Yeah.
She just liked your social media. So I want to hear about your social media success and if you ever foresaw that coming to you.
I sure did not. My social media before the pandemic was just my mom following me. He's still alive. But I told some stories over the pandemic. They blew up. I now have over 8 million followers across my platforms. And it's been such an incredible journey. I've really connected with my followers, my besties, I call them. And now I'm on this book tour and I'm really getting to see them en masse, which has been just the most heartwarming experience. And yeah, I'm very, very blessed.
Has anyone said to you yet, it's so fun to finally meet you in person because I've been following, we've been social friends for so long.
Yeah, I mean, there have been tears, there's been oversharing. People have been driving from 10 and a half hours away to come see me on a show. It's really overwhelming, but in a very fun and loving way.
Oh, that's so positive. I love to hear it. Okay, and since we've got a local sitting in the chair, I know you live here in Austin. Would you mind, over the last 3.5 years or so of living here, if you pick out a favorite spot maybe to eat that someone is, that's a lot of pressure, I know. I'll give you a couple of spots if you want to give me your top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, steak, I love going to Boa.
Okay.
Have you been?
I have not been.
It's so good.
But I also am not a steak consumer.
Okay, well then never mind.
But my husband is.
Okay.
So,
well, they
yeah.
have lots of other things.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you like for tacos? That's what I need to find.
Oh, tacos I think is really tough because I could be a default girly in a second. I can just default to a little Torchy's. I can default to a little Taco Deli. No problems whatsoever. Rudy's, I think, has a surprising, you stop by in the morning, get that breakfast taco. I just think it has a real easy in and out, and I think that's what breakfast tacos should be.
Okay,
it's easy.
well, I know where I'm going to go after this.
Okay, thank you. Look at us sharing along the way. And I'll make a reservation for Boa for a date night. How's that sound? Okay, so your book tour's next stop is in Austin tonight, Cap City Comedy Club. Talk to me about what the stand-up's going to be about.
Yeah, so I didn't want to just do another old book tour. I'm a performer by trade, and so I really wanted to kind of marry my old life of being on the stage with this new venture of being an author. And so we are talking about the book, but it is full of humor and laughs and stories just like the book. And like you said, one of my best friends, Christy Carlson Romano, is going to be there, so people can come see Kim Possible herself.
Oh, and that's a bucket list item right there. And hang on, what do you mean by stage?
I was a theater performer before I did social media.
So no wonder you were coming to us from New York.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, just real quickly, where can we get a copy of your book?
You can find this book literally anywhere you get books.
Okay.
Yeah, or if you want to find me on social medias, at Your Bestie Misha, it's in all of my links.
Okay, and can people still get tickets tonight?
Absolutely.
All right, sounds like a fun thing to do for a Monday. Misha, thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
Rosie.
appreciate it, and congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot to celebrate here. For more information on Misha, his book, upcoming projects, make sure you follow along on Misha at Your Bestie Misha and catch his tour tonight at Cap City Comedy Club. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Sherwood Forest Fair. It is an 8-weekend medieval spectacle that returns to Central Texas each year, and we are ready to step back in time with the magic of Sherwood Forest Fair. We've got 2 very famous people, Robin Hood and Maid Marian, here in the studio to tell us more about it. Good day.
Good day. Well said.
Robin, opening weekend is going to be really exciting. You've got some special guests. Tell us about it.
Yes, indeed. We've got all kinds of special guests all over all of our stages. However, our very, very special guests are the Wellermen, who'll be playing at our pirate ship stage, the Argosy stage. And they'll be here only on our first weekend, so get your tickets now and come camping with us for the Wellermen all weekend long.
And archery is a pretty big deal at Sherwood Forest Fair. Tell us about that.
Yes, we have our archers who are shooting in the jousting field. They're doing tournaments, they're winning prizes, and it's beautiful. If you haven't seen real live English longbow, you must see it.
2 archery tournaments per day, and you can shoot archery as well, as we have 2 or 3 of them, at least 2 or 3
least 2.
places you can shoot archery yourself.
And you may purchase a bow as well if you really get the excitement of it. You need one to bring home.
Is there one this beautiful?
Oh, this old thing, I only shoot it when I don't care where they land.
Okay, let's talk about jousting, because archery, a big sport in medieval times, but jousting is a pretty big deal as well, and there's some money on the line.
Yes, indeed. We have full contact jousting happening every day at the Joust Arena at Sherwood Forest Fair. However, on our penultimate weekend, that's our 7th 7th weekend, we will have 6 to 8 nights competing for a $1,000 purse, and instead of any other activity they may do on that joust field, they just break lance after lance after lance.
And then, Marion, is there anything else that you'd like to mention about what makes Sherwood Forest Fair so magical?
I think to me it is our community. We not only on the off season we have volunteer weekends where all of our beautiful friends come and help do things like paint the stages or clean the gardens and things like that, and those people return year after year and make our village just so full of heart and love.
I can borrow your bow, Robin, real
certainly.
quickly here. Oh, I feel very fancy handling this. And if you wouldn't mind breaking out your bugle, there we go.
Not at all.
Whenever you're ready, my
A
friend.
fanfare in honor of thee. Tally-ho!
Plan your trip to the 17th annual Sherwood Forest Fair, open weekends starting February 28th at sherwoodforestfair.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Sherwood Forest Fair. Welcome back. Did you know February is International Boost Self-Esteem Month? Who knew? We happen to have an expert available who focuses on discovering a rooted identity from which self-esteem can bloom. Dr. Eric Moyer joins us now in the studio, and we're happy to have him. Dr. Eric, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so talk to us about what, in your opinion, is going wrong with folks building self-esteem.
Well, self-esteem is one of these activities where it has become where people from the outside have to build up someone's self-esteem. But self-esteem, just by the name of it, is self-esteem. It's something that comes from what we're doing in the way that we perceive ourselves. So whenever I talk with people about that idea of self-esteem, I kind of use the word humility, which is actually a word that kind of gets a bad rap. Instead of it being looked at as someone having a low self-esteem or a low self-opinion of themselves, humility is really this idea of having an accurate view of who you are, an honest perspective of who you are. So you're not allowing yourself to have a low self-esteem or an overinflated self-esteem, but you're trying to be this person who really sees yourself honestly as who you are, so that you can, whether it's a good time, a bad time, an up time, or a down time, you're kind of rooted in that honest perspective of who you are and what you can do.
When I hear humility, what I'm hearing you say is like acknowledge that there's so much to accomplish in this great wide big world, and that you do play a part in it, but that necessarily that doesn't have to say I'm bad,
No,
I'm wrong.
That's exactly right. There are so many options out there and so many opportunities, and I think so many times we've been given the message of, well, you can do anything and everything. I want people to recognize that you are valuable. You are worthwhile. You have a purpose and a role to play, but it doesn't mean that you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Figure out who you are, figure out what you were meant to do and meant to be, and really focus on that, because then you can really grow in those strengths, and you're going to be able to find that place of joy, of peace, of fulfillment, because that's where you're going to be walking into, instead of trying to be something that someone else may have kind of led you to go.
And I also think when I hear humility, think about your terms of scale. Because maybe you want to be Mother Teresa, but actually you could do so much good if you just helped out at your local soup kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I actually had one person who caught on to this idea and says, okay, so what you're telling me is, if I was meant to be a teacher, why would I ever want to be the President of the United States?
Right.
Because that's not what I was meant for. That's not what I was created for. And yes, that he does an amazing amount of stuff for the world, but my fulfillment's going to be found in teaching a classroom of kids. Like my wife was a preschool teacher.
Oh.
And she made such an impact over the years that she was a preschool teacher, and parents and kids still connect with her over Facebook. And they're now parents, and she taught them when they were 3 years old.
Oh, how sweet. And a good reminder that you're still molding lives. It just might be on a different scale.
Absolutely.
Than you thought it was. Okay, we've got 4 P's: principles, perspectives, purposes, and priorities, and it helps determine our mental health. Touch on that for me.
Well, in the book, I take the idea of identity, and it's such a big topic, identity, who we are. And I break it down into a framework that's really easy for people to grasp. It's principles, perspectives, purposes, and priorities. Truths we believe, perspectives, how do we interpret, how do we see things? Purposes, what am I all about? What motivates me? What gets me up in the morning? And priorities, what are the things that, if I was going to say, these are the most important things that I'm going to do, what are those things that I will sacrifice other things, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to get these things. So mental health is really about aligning those things with who we really are and living out of those. If we can get those right, then we're going to be walking into, living into, becoming who we were meant to be. But we're going to find out that we're not trying to, as I said earlier, do something that someone else has wanted us to do. I think the Olympics has been a big thing on the past couple of weeks.
It's painful to watch a 16-year-old get gold. Can I tell you that? Because as someone who compares themselves, I'm 20 years older than that, you know what I mean? But these are people who are doing what they feel they were born to do.
Well, one of the great stories I loved is the figure skater who won the gold at 15 years old.
Yeah.
And then basically said, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And walked away and left for 2 years. But then she came back. And they say that she's an even better skater now than she was back then, because she finally moved from doing the ice skating, which she was very gifted at, because someone else wanted her to do it.
Yes.
And she finally got into the place that she figured out, this is what I love to do. And I'm going to do it the way that I feel like I want to do it. And she skated amazingly, but it's because she finally took on that autonomy and that authenticity of being who she really was meant to be.
That's a really good point. Finally doing it for yourself, but it took her walking away.
Exactly.
Reevaluating, much like you lead people here through the book, in order to get to that point. Let's talk about why the cure for burnout, which is such a big word. We use it all the time nowadays because it's so common. It isn't a boost. It isn't an injection into your self-esteem, but instead kind of a return to our original design.
Yeah, just like you said, I think a lot of times whenever we burn out and we're doing things because we don't know why we're doing them anymore. Sometimes what we need to do is we need to pull back and we need to reflect. We need to think about, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it because I'm just now in this rut that I've been doing things this way all along? And
it happens so often when you're in a career 10, 15, 20 years, you just keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you get into this performance identity, which I've written about. And you're just about doing the next thing, getting the next promotion, doing the next project. But sometimes you get to the point you have to go, why am I doing this? Is this really what I'm meant to do? Or sometimes there is an opportunity to transition. And whenever those opportunities come, we need to sometimes take that opportunity and look at the possibilities and not just try to get back into the same ruts that we've always been in.
I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a really fresh look at yourself. Very cool stuff. We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Eric, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Dr. Eric Moyer is one of many wonderful local authors represented by PR by the Book. Learn more about redeeming identity by going to redeemingidentity.com. And you can learn more about other great works at prbythebook.com. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Plexiderm. Moms, of course, try to pass on the wisdom of wearing sunscreen and moisturizing, 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 but do any of us ever listen? And even if we follow all of that advice to a T, we still end up with those unwanted deep-set wrinkles, puffy under eye bags. Why? Well, the good news is it's not your fault. It's just a part of growing older. As we age, our skin naturally loses its moisture, its elasticity, and then the wrinkles come. However, today we're excited to talk to an expert that can help us look and feel our best. Lifestyle contributor Melinda McKenzie is here to tell us more about Plexiderm. Melinda, hello.
Hello, thank you for having me today. I'm excited to talk about Plexiderm, which is a product I use every single day.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about how great you look because you're about to turn what age, my friend?
I'm about to turn 65, 6'5". And I want to also say I don't have injections. I don't have fillers. That's why I like talking about Plexiderm. This is just simply what Plexiderm can do for you. So I know a lot of times people will watch these and say, this doesn't seem right. It seems like maybe AI has jumped in there and fixed things. I'm here to tell you this is what Plexiderm can do. And that's also why we like to show photos and videos, because even if you've never taken care of your skin, and believe me, I do as much as I can, but even if you've never taken care of your skin, that's the great thing about Plexiderm, because you're just going to put it any area that you want to have it smooth and you're good to go.
Yeah, okay. I love, of course, seeing before and after pictures and videos. Tell me about this. Only 10 minutes, no doctor visits, topical serum, so there's no pain involved, right?
Yes. My favorite thing is that now you are in charge of your skin. Let's say you're someone who's already gotten injections and fillers, no judgment there. But if you do that and then you go out to eat or you stay up late and you get the puffiness, what are you going to do about that? You're going to get your Plexiderm out and take care of it. I like the fact that it's a topical serum. So anywhere on your face that you're like, you know what, I don't like those forehead lines, or I have the puffiness underneath my eyes, or what about those deep lines around my mouth? Put the smallest amount of Plexiderm. We want you to let it rest for 10 minutes. Then you have up to 10 hours of usage. So remember 10 for 10. And then the great thing is you just wash it off at the end of the day. So don't need a manual. You don't need 6 weeks. You need 10 minutes.
Not bad. And, you know, for those of us ladies who are putting on the makeup, maybe a little bit more as time goes on when we're trying to feel our best, talk to me about how we should use Plexiderm and makeup. And then can guys do it? Those who wear no makeup?
Exactly. Those are great questions. And those are very popular among people that are new to Plexiderm. So yes, you can absolutely wear cosmetics with Plexiderm. I do. I love cosmetics. What I will tell you is you can do it either way. You can put it on first, put your Plexiderm on first, then use your cosmetics, because you are going to find you use a lot less. For me personally, because I've lost a lot of collagen, so I have the indentation. So what would happen is I'd throw a lot of under eye concealer, thinking the more is better, and it really isn't. Now, if you're a guy and you don't wear any cosmetics and you're like, yeah, I'd like to have smoother skin, but I don't want anybody to know I'm wearing something. I don't want to see anything. I want my skin to look like my skin. That's why we love Plexiderm. This is highly concentrated. You just use the smallest amount. We have men in our clinical trials as well as women. We have athletes, guys who run, and they say, wow, I can't believe something so simple. Thanks for letting us use something that the ladies have been using. So that's why it's exciting. It doesn't matter, male, female, sensitive skin like me, or you've never taken care of your skin. Plexiderm is going to work. You just need clean, dry skin in 10 minutes.
Sounds good to me. And you mentioned clinical studies. Let's talk about what clinical studies have been done on Plexiderm.
Yes, absolutely. So in February of 2019, we wanted to know, how effective is Plexiderm? How long does it last? What are the results when we put it on the forehead, under the eyes, and around the mouth? What we discovered is when you start with clean, dry skin and let your Plexiderm rest 10 minutes, on those forehead lines, you're going to have a reduction of up to 85%. Pretty phenomenal. So don't cut the bangs anymore. Plexiderm will do the job for you. Underneath the eyes, that is the number one issue that people talk about. The puffiness, the lines and creases. For someone like me who gets that indentation, I don't want that to be the first thing people look at and people say that you're tired. When you put Plexiderm and let it rest for 10 minutes, no matter what issue it is, you're going to have a reduction of up to 80%. That's really phenomenal. And remember, you can wear it with or without makeup. Last but not least is around the mouth. If you have those marionette lines that you feel like are very deep, or if let's say your cosmetics crease into the lines of your face, put the smallest amount here or around the lips, let it rest for 10 minutes. You're going to have a reduction of up to 74%. And again, let it rest for 10 minutes. You're going to notice a difference in 2 to 3 or go, I'm done, I'm special. Let it rest for 10. We want it to create that nice, beautiful shield. 10 for 10, then it lasts up to 10 hours.
That's wonderful. And then, Not only can you get through the workday, you can get through cocktail hour, maybe seeing some friends, come home and wash it off. I want to ask about a trial offer because you're trying to encourage people to just give it a go.
We are. Everybody would like a free sample. We love to give everybody on the planet a free sample. It's not realistic. So here's a great idea that they came up with. For $14.95, you're going to get a 6-pack. So that means 6 applications of your Plexderm to give it a try. This is free shipping. This is a 30-day money-back guarantee. There is no subscription. So once you get this, this is all you get. Give it a try and see how you like it. We want to hear your stories. After 8 years, we still hear from people every single day. So just go to plexdermtrial.com. You can get this great deal. Call the number on your screen or scan that code. And then we want to hear from you.
Sounds good to me. Melinda, if we can look like you, then I think we're in the right ballpark. My friend, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
You can try Plexaderm for just $14.95, including free shipping, by visiting plexadermtrial.com or by calling the number on your screen. Again, that's plexadermtrial.com or call 800-727-6719. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Plexaderm. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Marbridge Foundation. Summer camp is a great way to get introduced to Marbridge. Rosie Dunlap, admissions coordinator, and Marbridge resident Olivia are here to tell us more about this exciting annual tradition. So Rosie, we're going to come to you first. Can you remind everybody at home a little bit about Marbridge and what it is y'all do here?
Sure. Marbridge is a residential community for approximately 275 individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities located in Southwest Austin. We have a rich history, but presently serve adults 18 to end of life in one of 3 distinct care communities on our campus.
And an annual tradition y'all have is summer camp. Tell me a little bit about what summer camp looks like and the qualifications to become a camper.
Summer camp is a great opportunity for campers that are interested in living at Marbridge in the future to come out and give Marbridge a try. Campers have the opportunity to participate in fun activities on campus, including art, music, sports and games, horticulture, and even an equestrian class. In general, we're looking for campers that can safely traverse our campus, keep up with such a busy schedule of activity, and not require significant amounts of one-on-one assistance.
Gotcha. So there is some independence here, and one of those people is Olivia, who started here as a summer camper and then eventually became a Marbridge resident. Olivia, tell me a little bit about what you like about Marbridge.
Well, I've been liking it a lot, and I've been enjoying my classes. Well, my classes are every Monday to Friday. One of my favorite classes is jewelry art.
And actually, you made this beautiful piece of jewelry just yesterday.
Yes.
And what else do you enjoy?
The one major event is Knight in Shining. It's a dance.
Oh.
It's coming up. I got my prom dress for the Knight in Shining.
Well, that sounds really exciting. Do you have some good friends here at Marbridge?
I have some friends, Jerry, Ray, Molly.
And are they going to be attending the Knight in Shining?
Yes.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be a good time. Okay, Rosie, if someone is looking to sign their loved one up for summer camp, maybe this is the first step in the door, what should they do?
Go to our website, marbridge.org, to learn more details about summer camp, including pricing, session dates, qualifications. You can always call or schedule a tour to learn more as well.
Sounds good to me. Y'all, thank you for your time and have a great time at the dance.
Thank you.
To learn more about everything that Marbridge has to offer, go to marbridge.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Marbridge Foundation.
Rising star Harper Grace has a brand new single release on the horizon, and it's stealing hearts of listeners across the world with her spunky vocals and amazing attitude. She joins me now. Good morning, Harper. How are you?
Good morning. I need to take you around with me all the time. That was a wonderful intro. Wow.
I'd be happy to intro you more. Yes, let's talk about that later. Now, Harper, let's start with this. Was music what you knew you'd always do?
Honestly, yeah. My mom put me in gymnastics as a young girl because she was an elite gymnast. And at 6 years old, I told her I wanted to quit and do music. And she thought I was crazy because nobody in the family did music. But yeah, I had a dream at such a young age and was super dedicated and wanted to do anything I possibly could to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting thing here, like observation on my behalf. I was listening to your EP earlier, and your vocals sort of remind me of like a young Miranda Lambert with your power kind of within your vocals and just the strength behind them as well. So who would you maybe say some of your early inspirations for your craft were?
Dolly Parton was my top tier inspiration. I always loved her. My Nana used to have her on records in the living room growing up all the time. I also really loved Rascal Flatts growing up, as well as Christina Aguilera. I loved Rascal Flatts, though, in the country realm because they did such a wonderful job at tying in the soul and the country. And I grew up in a gospel choir with my family doing mission work. And yeah, that for me, when I realized I could blend this soul and this like grittiness with the storytelling of being poetic on the country realm, I was sold.
That actually makes so much sense to me, that kind of country blend with someone like Christina Aguilera, because like you said, the soul, but also she's like one of the great divas of our time. So that makes a lot of sense to me, and I appreciate hearing that. Now, as I mentioned, you had an EP released last fall called Take It to the Grave. So tell me how this one came together.
Take It to the Grave was fun. That one was something that was actually inspired by my mom, how she kind of encouraged me to have a lot of confidence growing up. She used to make me look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful, I am confident, I am, me, I'm all of these things. And, going into the dating realm and stuff like that, it really kind of was a comedic take on how I felt confidently, with ties into, the music video has some bits and pieces of these different guy characters and playing it out in that manner. I used to watch a lot of I Love Lucy with my grandma as well as old Western films. And so I wanted to piece together this silly Texas funky, confident girl with all the comedic timing of an old Western film. And yeah, being from Texas, I think when somebody's from Texas because we tell you about 50 times and it's as loud as can be. And so that Texas confidence and that sass and grit was definitely also an inspiration of it. But
yeah, I love that. Well, I want to take a little detour here for a second and ask about that. So obviously you are a Texas native, as you said. How do you feel like your Texas roots has kind of made who you are and maybe even had an impact on the musician that you've become?
That's a wonderful question. I think growing up in Texas, you learn a lot of humility, as I guess maybe that could sound silly because we are very loud about being Texans, but I think that there's such a Southern grace about growing up in Texas. You have this wonderful way of establishing a family-oriented, like, relationship with people that you don't really know that well. And I'm just really grateful for having those roots. And it has been really easy to transition in my move to Nashville because I think a lot of people in Tennessee are very similar. I think a lot of Southern people are just warm and welcoming. And I'm a hugger. I don't really shake many hands. I'm like, you're my friend, come over. You want to have some sourdough bread from my kitchen? Come on in. But yeah, I definitely think that has been a big piece of my roots that I've never let go of, is just the hospitality aspect that Texas teaches you.
Yeah, well, the world can never have too much warmth and light, so I can appreciate that you've really taken those attributes on throughout your whole life. Now, your brand new single, If Daddy Says No, comes out at the end of February, and there's kind of an interesting backstory and message on this one, so can you tell me more about this?
Of course, yeah. This song has been so interesting to release and to get the opportunity to share this very personal piece of my story. I was actually in a relationship at the time that was not honoring me at all, and that I kind of was stuck in and I didn't know how to get out of. But in this time period of writing If Daddy Says No, I was kind of wrapped up in this manipulated state of thinking that I could just run away and get rid of everything and just, go and be married and live out my little hopeless romantic life, when at the end of the day, I realized, some of those hopeless romantic movies that I love so much, those characters sometimes might not even be good for each other. And you don't even know how the story ends. Like, they never tell you the rest of their lives. Maybe it didn't go like it was supposed to. And so I kind of took a bird's eye view of how it might turn out if I kept that route going. And growing up in Texas, having family being so important to me, especially my relationship with my dad, growing up being, such a daddy's girl and going on father-daughter trips, and that relationship being so strong, I wanted somebody that respected my dad enough. And so at the time, I was living in this tension, living in the push and pull of who to please, what to do, but also staying true to who I was. And that family thing really just raised its hand. And that's what started If Daddy Says No. And the story just kind of played out, and there's no resolution when you listen to the song of what I chose to do, but luckily in my own personal life there was a resolution, which Daddy did say no to this person when they asked for my hand in marriage in the most disrespectful way, and I'm so grateful for that. And I've moved on and have focused more so on the art and telling the story and getting the personal side of it out in hopes that it will connect with other people, and playing it live has been so wonderful because so many people have shared their stories with me as well.
Yeah, I love that messaging because I think that's, such a real life, real world situation that many of us will experience or have experienced, as that parental approval when asking for someone's hand in marriage. So I like that because it is very nerve wracking on both sides, right? Like as the person who's, going to be asked, you hope that the parents will tell them yes. And as the person asking, you're like a nervous wreck that, mom and dad will or won't say yes. I went through that myself with my wife and it was terrifying. But anyways, we're married and everything's great. But so I think that's a great messaging, and I hope a lot of people connect with that. My final question for you, Harper, what's ahead for you this year? Can we expect more new music, maybe some tour stops? What do you have brewing?
Yeah, there may or may not be a secret version of this song also coming out a little bit later on. Very much focused on If Daddy Says No and the story that it's telling and putting all of these pieces together. But there will be live shows and festivals and tours all placed on my website where I'll be this year and the spots that I'll be hanging out. So hopefully if the viewer wants to come and join and listen to a live show, they can find everything on the website and on social media and put all these pieces together for If Daddy Says No on my Instagram.
All right, I love it. Well, Harper, thank you so much. You can check out Harper Grace's music on all music streaming platforms and keep up with her journey on social media. Plus, tune into If Daddy Says No.
Hey, we are happy to be able to offer you some help if you're out there searching for jobs. KXAN has partnered with ZipRecruiter to help you find thousands of job openings in Austin and around the country. Just go to kxan.com/jobs where you can search thousands of new postings every single day. Check it out right now and get started on the path to your next career.